Hey guys, back again with Wes. And Wes, when I was younger, being an athlete, um, you'd be out and I was a quarterback, and I remember going to camp one summer, a quarterback camp, and there were some guys there, and actually four of them wound up playing in the NFL eventually, and later on in their life. But I remember watching those guys throw. So when it would be my turn, I'd always see if I could throw it further than they could. And of course I couldn't, because they went on and played in the NFL and I didn't. But I wanted to kind of, my pride got in the way, and I wanted to really, it wasn't about improving my skills. Sometimes I would lose that focus, and it was just trying to one up those guys. And I don't really think because of that, I think I may have cheated myself in really enhancing my skills while I was at camp, because I was trying to one up those guys. But one of them wound up having this amazing career in the NFL. So how in the world I ever thought I could one up him, I don't know. But that's just, that pride kind of takes over in men's lives. We're pretty easy sucked in with pride. So I know you like to play golf, and I know you probably got a few stories where that's kind of happened, where pride's got in your way of your golf game a little bit, maybe.
Oh yeah, I just I just thought of one. People will come up to me and have for years. They go, "Wes, you have got one of the prettiest golf swings I've ever seen." Now, if pride gets in the way, then all of a sudden I start thinking that I'm Freddie Couples or something like that.
Yeah.
But I keep telling them, I said, if my swing is so pretty, why am I always over in the woods? So the woods and the sand traps and everything are a reminder that I'm really not that good.
Yeah.
But one day I was out and I befriended a couple of old guys that wanted to play golf. And so I really enjoyed their company. And so I'd go out and play, and they were in one cart and I was in the other. And of course I was, 20 years younger than they were. So of course I was going to hit it further and do different things than they were, but they were enjoying the day. So I hit this one drive out there, and it went for a long, I don't know, must have hit a concrete or something. But anyway, it went a long way. I drive up to my ball, I get out, and I'm just waiting for them to say, "That's the longest drive that I've ever seen." So I slowly turn to look to see what they're going to say, and I don't see them. I go, I mean, they've missed the greatest drive in the world, and they're not even here. Where are they? I looked around, and they were over in the woods trying to find golf balls, and they were just right in the middle of poison ivy and everything. And so there was more important things out there than the longest drive
Yeah.
that I thought was ever
Yeah.
hit. So that just reminded me of how prideful that I can be if I don't watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It.
So, our question today to the guys is, what do you take pride in?
Yeah.
And do you give the credit to yourself, or do you boast that the Lord has allowed you to have whatever you have? And if you can keep it in perspective, it's fine. But Proverbs 18:12 says, "Proud people will be ruined, but the humble will be honored." And we see it every day in the news, where people have been on top in politics, been in top in Hollywood, been in top, in business. And then all of a sudden they make a few mistakes because they think they can't be touched.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden they come and they fall, and God allows that to happen.
Well,
If you don't,
it even happens in ministry. We've
oh
seen,
yeah, oh
I,
yeah,
so when I think about pride, I don't want this to come out the wrong way, but I'm a guy that I'm out in front of a lot of people. I've written a book. Aren't you impressed?
yeah. It's a
you know,
long drive.
yeah. There's all these other things that the Lord's given me some gifts, and because of some of those gifts, I wind up being in front of a lot of people at times.
Yeah.
And and you get kind of sucked into that, where they come up to you and go, "Oh man, that was one of the best teachings I've ever heard," or
Oh yeah.
"Your book's amazing," or "That identity study you wrote changed my life," and all this stuff. And it's pretty easy to let my pride get in there and go, I think I am something, But I'm reminded of what Bob, the man who discipled me for so many years, used to always say. He said, Tim, you got to always keep your focus on whatever you're doing for the Lord, or whatever you're doing, period. It's got to be based around your obedience being the joy that it brings him.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
And that's got to be your motivation, is not pride, whatever, the joy that it brings to him from you being obedient and serving him in some form or fashion. And so, I think that's a daily struggle for men, is their pride and their ego, and the enemy tries to really get us to buy into all that I am somebody, or look at me, or whatever. And but without Jesus, I'm nothing, really. So
yes, it's one of those things where guys don't need guys around them that'll telling them what they want to hear. They need guys around them that'll tell them what they need to hear. A couple of things. One was, I think one guy said, I'm really not impressed with you, Wes, but I just enjoy being around you, which was really a good thing for me. And then I teach Sunday school sometime, and I fill in. And so I was, after this lesson, this guy came up to me and he said, I've been in this church for, I don't know, a little while. And he said, that's one of the best messages I've ever heard. And so all of a sudden, if I don't watch, I'm going up.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden he paused for just a second. And then he said, oh, by the way, don't let that go to your head. So that really helped me come back down. So you need guys around you that will not let you have things go to your head.
Yeah.
We just can't afford that to happen.
Yeah.
Tim, you and I are the same. I mean, we'll basically call each other like we see it. A lot of times you've told me, or I've told you, things that you probably didn't want to hear.
Nope.
But you knew if you were going to be a follower of Jesus Christ, that you needed to hear it, because I was saying it, you were saying it out of love.
Right.
That's what you can find if you got your pals that really are not impressed with you, but love you enough to tell you exactly what you need to hear.
Yeah. Well, and you need guys around you that can notice when pride is driving your bus.
Yes.
And be able to go, you need to change drivers. I've noticed that pride's been driving your bus, and
that's right.
You need to stop, get off, get a new driver. And I know one of the things you got here, it says, if we must boast, we can only boast in the Lord.
That's right.
That's got to, as Jesus followers, that's got to be the case. That's the only boasting we should be doing, is boasting on him, because without him, really, we're nothing. I don't care what our mind think, or the enemy tries to get us to think we are. Without him, we're nothing without him.
We're absolutely nothing. And what's so important, men, is that those people that are watching us, our other friends, but specifically our children and grandchildren, you can't fool them.
No,
they know exactly who you are. So just have to be careful.
Yeah. Pride is a powerful tool especially if we forget who we are.
Absolutely.
So, all right, Wes, thanks, guys. We'll see you next time on Man Minutes.